Hello, hello. It's time for another video on new releases that are soon to drop if they haven't already dropped. I've got a boatload of new fragrances coming up that I'm going to speak to you about in this video. Fragrances from brands like AMOUAGE, ELECTIMUSS, Louis Vuitton, Nichane, Essential Parfums, and so on and so on. If you're interested in hearing about these new releases, which are quite exciting for me, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. Yes, we're talking about new releases, either that have already dropped or coming very, very soon. I've got a few of them that I'm going to do first impressions on camera as well, one full bottle, and also one lab sample that I can give you my thoughts on the fragrances. But multiple releases that are soon to hit the shelves very, very soon, and I'm going to let you know all about these exciting fragrances. But you guys should let me know which fragrances you're excited most about. If you have been following this channel, I do these videos every 2 to 3 weeks, so if you haven't caught the previous editions, please go catch them. But before I move on to the fragrances, if you haven't gotten your ScentClub Kit number 10 yet, please do get it. It is now selling and soon to sell out. We are not doing as many original kits as we do the mystery boxes, so there won't be the same amount of quantity. But the 3 fragrances in the kit are Vanille Supermassive from Les Eaux Primordiales, Piano Santal from L'Orchestre Parfum, and Gianni from the House of Soradora. So a lot of people were asking what size the samples are. Usually they are, well, the bottles hold 7. We advertise 5, but we end up filling as much as we can in the bottles. So you might end up anywhere between 5 to 6 mLs in each of the atomizers. So either way, get your kit before we run out. I plan on doing a few more kits before autumn, so stay tuned for those. One mystery box and one original kit. Those should drop sometime within the next couple of months as well. So let's get started with the fragrances. The first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of AMOUAGE. So I take it that AMOUAGE's guidance has been extremely successful for the house of AMOUAGE. I have heard from associates over at Neiman Marcus that they keep selling out. Are you a fan of AMOUAGE's guidance? Guidance is a fragrance that is coming out as a exceptional extrait so it's called AMOUAGE Guidance 46 in exceptional extrait. So this now seems to be, I don't know what number extrait this is. There's probably like 8 or 9. Let me know if you guys have the exact number. I haven't been keeping track. The last great extrait from this house was Jubilation. Absolutely love it. But I am a fan of Guidance, and I'm curious to see how this does. It's created by Quentin Biche, and he is the king of creating extraits for different fragrances. Just look at Maison Crivelli and also the house of Marc-Antoine Barrois, as he does extraits for those 2 houses really, really nicely. So this fragrance features notes of Ambrette, Akigalawood, Rose, Saffron, Ambergris, Georgie Wood, Labdanum, Vanilla, Sandalwood, Jasmine, Sambac, Cypriol, Osmanthus, and so many additional notes go into the creation of this one. And so I feel like if the original had that kind of weird minerally milkiness, which I quite liked in that fragrance, I think this one's going to be in the more ambery and more beefy kind of direction. Whereas the Guidance had that great longevity, but it was not like a full-on ambery. But this, I feel like it's being amplified with more woods in the base and ambers, so it's going to be perhaps even also more masculine leaning if you felt like Guidance was on the feminine side. So very excited for this one. Let's move on to the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is ELECTIMUSS London's Spice d'Arno. I think we actually have a full-on gourmand from the house of ELECTIMUSS London now. I've got my nose on it. It smells pretty darn good. I want to wear it and experience it. This is a fragrance created by Celine Barel. I actually hung out with her last year at during duty free in south of France in Cannes. She was a very, very nice lady. I kind of had a weird connection with her, so strange. But Celine Barel did this fragrance for ELECTIMUSS London. It features vanilla, thyme, saffron, leather, myrrh, orange blossom, oud, pink pepper, iris, lemons, gurjun balsam, cashmere and bran, cardamom, cistus. Once again, like AMOUAGE, they list a lot of notes, which is kind of cool. We get an understanding of the fragrance. The fragrances of ELECTIMUSS and also AMOUAGE are pretty complex. And again, as I said, I've got my nose on this one. It's actually a full-on gourmand. Unlike Vanilla Edesia that came out last year, created by Cécile Zarokian, I didn't That was not one of my favorite fragrances, but this one does smell quite good, so I'll be sure reporting back on it very, very soon. Hopefully do a full review. But the next fragrance is from the house of GALLIVANT again. We did a feature like this in another video a couple of videos ago on a new launch called Nida. Now we've got a exclusive fragrance for the store Fortnum and Mason called Thyme. This is a fragrance created by Angeline Leporini. It's amber, Gurjun balsam, musk, patchouli, cypriol, Thyme rose, frankincense, dates, honey, pink pepper, saffron. I'm a fan of Thyme rose. In fact, Paris Monte Carlo's Rose de Thyme Extrait is one of my favorite rose fragrances. I absolutely love that fragrance, and it also shines in the heat. If you haven't gotten your nose on Paris Monte Carlo's Rose de Thyme, get it. The Extrait version, not the Eau de Parfum. The Extrait is just so amazing. But yeah, I'm curious to check out this one as well from GALLIVANT. Thyme, a Fortnum & Mason exclusive fragrance. So KILIAN is bringing back Imperial Tea. This is the 2024 edition. I was actually a fan of the original. I actually wore quite a bit of it when it launched like 10 plus years ago. I believe it was like 2013 it launched. They're bringing it back, but it's taking it into a marine direction, which is like, what the heck are they doing with this? So it's Calice, Becker, the perfumer. It's bergamot, green tea, mate, musk, seaweed, laminaria, moss, and vetiver. I don't know. I really don't know about this one. I'm always curious to check out KILIAN fragrances, but lately I haven't been really excited about them. I really loved the original. It was a really great cozy tea fragrance. But I don't like the idea that they have seaweed in this, which is going to be a bit of a turnoff, I have a feeling. But the next fragrance is quite exciting from Louis Vuitton. It's LVERS, spelled L-V-E-R-S. Is this true? It's co-created by Jacques Cavallier and sounds like his daughter or wife, Camille Cavallier. So this is actually a collaboration with Pharrell. I believe he's doing something, I think he's creative director there now, or doing something there. But it's sandalwood, ginger, solar notes, bergamot, galbanum, and cedarwood. My sales associate did message me and say that it's very woody. So I'm curious to get my nose on it. It does sound like it's going to be woody, sandalwood, and also cedarwood. But it has the ginger, it has the solar notes, it's got the bergamot, and also galbanum. So it's quite exciting. I think I'm going to get my nose on it this week. It launches on the 19th, so we shall see. But moving on to the next one, which sounds really exciting for me, MIYAKE's Le Sel d'Issey. I have a video on the channel of salty fragrances. If you like salty fragrances, go catch that video. So this most likely will go perfectly fit in that video if it was launched when I aired that video. But it's salt, ginger, kelp, vetiver, cedarwood, oak moss. I like salty fragrances, especially if they don't go too marine. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's just about the salt, and I really like that, especially Porthole from the house of Lumari. Their salty fragrance is meshed with fruits, so it's a nice contrast, salty, sweet, fruity. Really love that. It's the taking the place of marine notes, which, you know, obviously sea is salty, and so I like that a lot more as far as marine fragrances go. But I'm very curious on this next release from MIYAKE called Le Sel d'Issey. Let me know what you think about this fragrance. But moving on to the house of Parfums Cortana, Soleil Invisible is the next fragrance launching from this house. According to my research, it's created by Christina Christie, who I'm unfamiliar with. The first fragrance was created in this series was created by Luca Maffei, which won an Art and Olfaction Awards. The second in this series was created by Celine Barel, who I just reported on, who created the Gourmand from Electimuss London. This one is Christina Christie, which I don't know who she is, never heard of her, but I have got my nose on this one. It's a very woody, spicy fragrance with a bit of a Middle Eastern edge. It features notes of amber tonic, Sichuan pepper, pink pepper, musk, gaiac, vetiver, orris root, vanilla, labdanum, cypress, rose, and passion fruit, but there's additional notes as well. It did have a cumin effect on me, which I quite liked. It also had a bit of that Middle Eastern styling to it, but very woody for sure. So I'm going to hopefully report on this fragrance very soon. Stay tuned, but let me know if you're a fan of Parfums Cortana fragrances. We featured the first fragrance in the series that won that award created by Luca Maffei. Irofante is what it was called in mystery box number 1. So I do enjoy the fragrances of this house. Up next, we've got a fragrance from the house of Nishane. It's Desiro. I knew that this fragrance was coming. They had told me that they were working with Alberto Moria's, but I haven't really, I mean, they didn't tell me the fragrance, but they just had mentioned that they were working with Alberto Moria's. And this Desiro is created by Alberto Moria's for Nishane. It features notes of ambrotelide, vetiver, musk, star anise, carrots, cypriol, geranium, mint, ambergris, mandarin, marine notes. I really love ambrotelide, but there he goes again. Mr. Alberto Moria, stop using marine notes in every fragrance. I can't stand marine notes. He does it in a way that is a bit unsatisfactory for me. But there are fragrances that he's created that I really, really enjoy. And stay tuned very soon for a next edition of your Fragrance Questions Answered videos. Dropping either tomorrow or the next day, and there's a whole segment on Alberto Moria's question I had received, so you'll find out more about what my thoughts are on this person asking a question on Alberto Moria fragrances. It says the start of the fragrances are quite great, but they all dry down the same. But anyway, stay tuned for that video. It's a long-standing series I've been trying to do more of, so it's volume 6 of your Fragrance Questions Answered. And if you have any fragrance questions, I have an email address in the info box. But moving on to the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about, it's Chanel No. 5 Low in a limited edition, which I did end up getting a bottle of. My sales associate called me and said, we don't have too many. If you want one, get one before we run out. And when I went to pick one up, he said, we only have like 7 more left. I'm not sure if he's just pulling my leg, but this is a very limited edition of Low. It's created by Olivier Polge. Let's open it up on camera here for you guys. Let me know if you're a fan of Chanel No. 5, and let me know if you're a fan of Chanel No. 5 Low. Low features notes of aldehydes, orange, May rose, ylang ylang, cedar, musk, lime, orris, jasmine, neroli, mandarin, bergamot, and lemons. How does that sound to you guys? I don't know if this smells like the current version of Low, because that launched in 2016, I believe. The Low, like a more fresher, citrusy take on the original Chanel No. 5. But we should see. But the reason I bought this, I think it's going to be a great collector's item. It's limited edition. Chanel does these things once in a while. They did those red Chanel No. 5 bottles. This is their long-standing fragrance created by, was it Ernest Beau? Was it Ernest Beau? I think it was Ernest Beau. And he did this in like the early 1900s, in like 24, 25, somewhere around there, I believe. So here is this bottle. It kind of looks like a drop de ISSEY bottle, doesn't it? Maybe a little bit, not too much. This one is more like a drop of a tear, but, you know, of course, magnified, enlarged. Let's go ahead and quickly smell this stuff on camera. What do you think of the bottle? I don't have the original Low, Chanel No. 5 Low here to do a comparison, but to me it reminds me of the original. It's very fresh. It's also very aldehydic. Really invigorating and uplifting. It's got that sparkling effervescence, which aldehydes always provides. Aldehydes always provide an airiness. It lifts like the dense notes that are in the fragrance, makes it a lot more easier to wear, lighter, rather than really heavy and dense. So it's a fresher take on Chanel No. 5, basically. And I don't have the original, as I said, to compare, but this to me does smell like the original No. 5 Low. It does have the reminder of the original Chanel No. 5, but as I said, it's a lot fresher, and Low refers to water, so it's a watery, you know, lighter take on the original. So that's Chanel No. 5 Low, limited edition. I don't know how much these are going to be around or how long these are going to be around. It's $155 for a 50 ml. That's quite pricey, actually. But just wanted to let you guys know it's Chanel No. 5 Low from the house of Chanel in the limited edition. Let's move on to the next fragrance. It's Lacoste. They have a fragrance that is called Original. So they're relaunching a fragrance that I guess that was their original fragrance, but it's reimagined, recreated by Anne Flippo and Tanguy Gusnet. I don't know who that perfumer is, but I speak about Anne Flippo quite a bit. In fact, there's another fragrance here that I'm going to talk to you about that is created by her. But I'm quite curious to get my nose on this. I do enjoy Anne Flippo's creations, but more of the niche creations rather than the designer creations. But something about the notes breakdown really intrigues me. It's patchouli, sandalwood, lavender, clary sage, amber extreme, tonka beans, bergamot, cardamom, pink pepper. What do you guys think? Has anybody gotten their nose on this one? Put a comment down below. I believe it's out in France. I'm not sure if it's here in the States yet, but would like to get my nose on it and see what it's all about. Moving on to the house of Maison Crivelli, it's Oud Cadenza. Unfortunately, I didn't check the perfumer for Oud Cadenza. It's either, is it Jordi Fernandez again? I think this is a different perfumer though, not even Jordi or Quinton, but do correct me, put a comment down below. I totally spaced on getting the perfumer's name, but it's a spices, cardamom, cane sugar, cocoa, and oud. So we're going into a gourmand direction with oud. Sounds quite intriguing, exciting. I hope it's a worldwide release, or is it going to be another exclusive for another house? But man, this brand is cranking out a lot of fragrances. Are you a fan of any of the fragrances of Maison Crivelli? Any of the ouds? Any of the extracts? Any of the original fragrances? Go catch my video recently I did of Maison Crivelli's Tuberose Astral along with Marc-Antoine Barrois' Tilia, which are both created by Quinton Biche, that recently aired last week. Next up, another Anne Flippo fragrance. It's Essential Parfums Neroli Botanica. This is the long-standing series of excellent fragrances that are not necessarily extremely expensive from this house. And the lady behind the brand is really, really nice, and she always ends up giving me a lab sample when I see her at the shows. So I have Neroli Botanica here, created by Anne Flippo. She basically kind of reimagined working with a single perfumer and also, publicizing their name, putting their name on the bottles. If you don't know much about Essential Parfums, I have videos on the channel. So basically, a similar concept to Frederic Malle, but much more budget. This is created by Anne Flippo, and I always mention she does really great work with white flowers. This is a neroli bomb. Neroli, ginger, elemi resin, jasmine, and vetiver. Let's go ahead and smell this. So just so you know, I'm smelling the real thing. But I've had this since March when I was at Aix-en-Provence, and Geraldine, the brand owner, gave me that. Last year she did the same with the Patchouli Mania. But this is so good, guys. This is going to be really popular. If you like neroli, orange blossom, citrus floral notes, it's a fantastic smell. Really, really amazing. Again, it's not the luxury price of other niche fragrances that I'm raving about with Anne Flippo's creations, because she also does designers. Like, I did not care for Mugler's Angel Elixir, which she created. This is like around $100 for 100 ml. And it's a super fantastic neroli fragrance. And it's amazing. I think this is going to be quite a hit, especially if you like these kind of fragrances, neroli focused, orange blossom, and it's summertime. But the thing is, I think it's launching like very, very soon. So it's almost, summer's just starting, but by the time people get their hands on it, it'll be end. But I think it'll be great in next year's summer, or anybody living in warmer time zones. Warmer, territories and places. It's going to be perfect. So Essential Parfums Neroli Botanica, absolutely love it. Let's move on to the next fragrance. It's DS & Durga's Let's Dive, created by David Seth Moltz. Now this one, I love the name. I love where they come up with these names. This brand does, but they do crank out quite a bit of fragrances, and a lot of them are limited edition, so it's really difficult to keep up with them. But this one features seawater, ozonic notes, seaweed, choyanach, ambergris, rock rose. This one I'm going to be very cautious about. If you've gotten your nose on it, let me know. Put a comment down below. This one does seem like it's going to be ultramarine. Hey, that's a good name for a fragrance, right? But I like the name, Let's Dive. That's why I spoke to you guys about it, and I also like the brand. We'll see what it's all about. And then the next four fragrances we're talking about are the KILIAN fragrances that just launched, called Vacay in a Bottle collection. If you caught my video with Mona Katan of KILIAN, she came to the studio here. We shot a video together, and we mentioned some fragrances, and I said banana, and I did not know anything about a banana fragrance she was working on, and she was kind of surprised when I mentioned it. You'll see it on camera. Go watch that video. But this is a collection that features one of those banana fragrances. So there's four fragrances. First one is Marrakesh in a Bottle, Orange Blossom /24, another Alberto Moria's creation. Thankfully, he's not using marine notes on this one. Bergamot, Cedarwood, Neroli, Orange Blossom, Pink Pepper, Turkish Rose. And then we've got Maldives in a Bottle, Ylang Coco /20. This is a fragrance created by Gabriella Cellaru. Remember, Kayali only works with Firmenich perfumers, and she's been working with Gabriella Cellaru for a long time. This is not the fragrance I was referring to, but this one does feature banana flower. It's banana flower, coconut milk, lemons, rosemary, starfruit, and ylang ylang. Next, Capri in a Bottle, Lemon Sugar /14. This is the fragrance created by Alexis Gurjun. Freesia, lemons, musk, raspberry, sugar, vanilla. So these seem like they're very light, airy, kind of happy, uplifting, fruity, vacation, kind of tropical fragrances. What are your thoughts on these so far? Now, the last one is the one I think is the one I kind of surprised Mona with saying banana. So this is Maui in a Bottle, Sweet Banana 37. Again, Alexis Gurjun. Banana, coconut cream, jasmine, pears, sandalwood, vanilla. I'm curious to get my nose on this. I want to see what it's all about because I kind of guessed she was working on a banana fragrance, so I don't know, read her mind or something when she came in. But let me know if you've gotten your nose on any of the fragrances I discussed with you today, including these KILIAN ones that I just mentioned. Put a comment down below and let me know what fragrances you're excited for, ones that I did not mention here. And if you're curious to catch the recent videos I did in this topic, they're on the channel as well. Just search for new fragrances launching or dropping or something. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So just as a little extra addition here, I'm a big fan of the brand Maison Violet or Violet Parfums, Violet Parfums. They are redesigning their bottles. In fact, they've actually already done them, and so they're relaunching their fragrances in new bottles. What do you guys think of the new bottles? Let me know. Put some comments down below. Let me know also if you're a fan of this house. I really enjoy 2 or 3 of their fragrances. I've got 2 of them I'm going to talk to you about here real quickly. But I really thought their older bottles were a little wobbly. Let me show you. This is Sketch. So that's the problem I had with it, but I felt like the bottles themselves were great. I'm not 100% sold on the new bottles, unfortunately, but they do seem like they are more appealing to a younger crowd. That's just my opinion. They just seem more younger and easy on the eyes. There's nothing elaborate about them, but really love the brand and several of their fragrances, including Sketch here, and of course my favorite, En Air d'Apogée, which I've featured in ScentClub Kit number 2. Really, really great tobacco fragrance. It's honeyed, but it doesn't feature a honey note. It's got mimosa in the note, but the fragrance is created by Nathalie Lorson, both of these. So this En Air d'Apogée, I featured quite a bit in fragrances. It has a slight smokiness about it, but to me I get more like tobacco leaves with a combination of a little bit of the smoky ash. And there's definitely honeyed touches here, but it's sweet, it's powdery, it's dry, and it's an amazing tobacco fragrance. And for me, this fragrance is perfect in autumn. It's like the perfect autumn fragrance. Tobacco, dry, a bit, powdery, as I said, a bit sweet, honeyed, but we're getting that with that mimosa flower in here. The way the perfumers work with their magic, they bring out certain aspects or qualities in certain notes, because with mimosa, you do get a honeyed touch. And here, they've elevated and amped up the honeyed quality against the tobacco-ish touches. It's such a great release. If you haven't gotten your nose on En Air d'Apogée, please do. Definitely a favorite fragrance of mine and featured in a ScentClub Kit number 2. But let's quickly smell both of these on camera and tell you a little bit more about them. I haven't pulled them out in a while. We featured En Air d'Apogée in 2022. It was the second kit we did. But it's so super sexy. I absolutely love the way this smells. It's also the way it wears. It's not very dense, but it's got really a great lingering, clinging power the way it wears. Again, it just seemed like it's the right kind of fragrance to wear in the autumn. To me, it smells like autumn. There's a breeziness about it, that kind of windy breeziness that you get in the autumn. It's a bit chilly, like imagine sitting next to somebody smoking a cigarette and they're wearing something sweet, or maybe they're perhaps drinking a sweet drink. So that's the kind of combination I get with the Honneur d'Apogée. It's fantastic. But, you know, they just redid their bottles, and we'll see how it'll look in there. And then Sketches, my second favorite from this house. It's more about patchouli and amber. But between the two, I feel like Sketches stronger than Honneur d'Apogée. But Sketches are really sexy as well. Really amazing creations by Nathalie Lorson. And so if you like the idea of that amber patchouli combo, resins and balsams, Sketch will be very, very satisfactory. And the brand itself is a resurrected brand. It was around a long time ago. I've got several videos on the channel about the brand. Go catch those videos with one of the owners of the brand who came here in the studio, and we shot videos back there before the shelves were back there. But you'll learn more about how old the brand is, and they've resurrected it. It was resurrected by 3 perfume school friends, and they decided to resurrect and then of course give the projects to Nathalie Lorson, and she created these great fragrances. In fact, there's a few others that I really enjoy from the house, and according to the information I have, one of the fragrances in the collection is either discontinued or not made available because they launched the brand or relaunched the brand with the new bottles, and one of the fragrances in the collection is gone. But what do you guys think of the fragrances of you know, this house, Maison Violet or Violet Parfums or Violet Parfums? Let me know. And what do you guys think of these bottles versus the new bottles? Put a comment down below so I can find out, and let me also know all the fragrances from this house that you enjoy. Which ones do you enjoy? Did you get ScentClub Kit number 2? ScentClub is like this now, but before we started with a different design, so it was more vintagey looking, the design of the kits we did before. But now they're like this. But we featured Honneur d'Apogée number 2 kit, which dropped in around August of 2022. And we did less kits of that, but yeah, Honneur d'Apogée, if you're a tobacco lover, you must get your nose on Honneur d'Apogée. It's super fantastic, and of course, it's a perfect autumn fragrance. I love it in the autumn time, and I think what we did when we launched that kit, we launched it around August, just in time for, you know, summer to be over, and of course getting ready for, you know, wearing your autumn fragrances. But the house is great. I really enjoy hearing about classic houses that are resurrected. There's so many of them now, like d'Orsay, Le Gallion, many brands like Sherigan. All of these houses that were, you know, around in the 1800s, 1900s, and then they close up shop and somebody, you know, resurrects the house. And that's exactly what the 3 owners of Maison Violet did with this house. And I think they've been doing some great work. I personally, I'm not really sold on the new bottles, but I think they'll satisfy the younger generation. At least to me, they seem a little young and a bit more, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Put a comment down below. And that's basically all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.